Hey you! Yes, you there. The person who decided to click on a very provocatively named video about their favourite little colony sim. I promise you, I love this game just as much as you do. So wait until the end of the video to press the dislike button. The creator sits on the right hand of the mighty god Howard. However, it seems that hand also contained the Horse Armor DLC, and maybe baby Rimworld should have been kept well away from that. But I've gone off topic. Everyone likes Rimworld. I mean, Steam says it's overwhelmingly positive, and most of the bad reviews go something like this. I thought this game was good, but I was expecting fully fledged stories with fully fledged out characters and interesting storylines. You can't have everything. And it's not about the stories the game creates, it's about the ones you can tell your friends about, so they are peer pressured into buying the game after all the wonderful things you told them. And that lovely Steam sale is on. So if I think this game is so good, you may ask, why do I have the provocative title? And I would tell you, clickbait. I mean how passionately I feel about this DLC. But I think something is wrong. Definitely. Well, for the few humans who have been living under a rock for 2 years straight, I would like to inform you that there is more to games than just playing tic-tac-toe on a stone. Rimworld is a colony sim where you crash land on a planet at the edge of the galaxy and you need to build up your colony from nothing to something, whilst constantly being raided by pirates, your whole world being destroyed by what was a tiny fire, and your colonists deciding that when you have literally no food to throw a fit and eat as much as they like. Why, Shani, why? I'm not going to go into detail as you're not watching a review, but a video where someone talks shit about a game's DLC. And so if you did want a review, you could pick one of the many other ones that are out there. Now that all the savages out there have been civilized by the knowledge of the Rimworld, we may begin the rump steak of a lavish meal, or the yellow sludge of a simple meal, depending on your cooking skill. There is one big problem with the Rimworld DLC royalty. It costs £15! I don't know how much that is in dollars, but here, that's a lot of money to spend on a DLC. Let's put it into perspective. 15 quid is a good price for a DLC from a AAA studio. It gives you, let's say, 5 hours of more content that you love. That's £3 per hour plus some new items, a new bit of open world to explore, and some new tunes. In this regard, Rimworld succeeds. It gives you a new open world, you get a new one each time you open a new game, DLC or no DLC, more than 5 hours worth of different flavours of the same quest, like all other good AAA titles. A new faction, some new cool weapons, some new furniture, and a whole new ending, and on paper that sounds a lot. So let's break it down so I can prove to you that it's not worth $15. Didn't change that much. Shuttles are kind of cool though. Quests are the meat of this DLC. There are 4 different kinds of quests: construction, babysitting, helping, and being fucked over by someone else's problems. So let's pull it apart. In construction quests, you build someone something, and if you fail to keep it safe, all hell rains loose on your colony, and your colony will be smitten down. I don't think I've ever taken one of these quests because they use up too many resources and don't usually offer good enough justification. In babysitting quests, you look after a noble, an animal, or a prisoner. These offer good rewards and sometimes a helping hand. For one problem is that later on in the game, every single one of these quests includes blood rot or some other untreatable disease, where you have to treat them regularly throughout their stay, and it adds another thing to worry about on top of that inferno that seems to believe your colony would be quite the tasty snack. The helping quests sometimes offer good rewards, but your colonists are away for too long, and although that armor looks really cool, maybe starving was not a good trade for it. The being fucked over by someone else's problems quest goes something like this. Trumpet, my old buddy. Trumpet goes, who the hell are you? And Baldric the Yeoman goes, you see that pack of 100 dogs with rabies which kill anyone in sight? Yeah? They're attacking my caravans. And Trumpet goes, and what do you want me to do about it? And Baldric goes, kill 'em. So Trumpet asks, and why should I risk my life for you? And Baldric goes, how about a sword that tells you how great a guy you are? And Trumpet goes, anything else? Baldric, of course, replies, it's sharp and pointy. So Trumpet does the logical thing of saying, hell yeah! And so, 12 hours later, you're contemplating whether the death of 2 of your colonists was worth that sword. So, with the grievances, you do the logical thing and check their price in the caravan menu. And so, you find out that, yep, it was totally worth it. Anyway, the quests are pretty good, though there's not enough of them for the asking price, and many of them are just reskins of these 4 types of quests. What is the main reason for doing all the quests? Honor. The currency of a new faction. Basically street cred, but for snobs. With this you gain a title and psychedelic powers, like magic, but for snobs. None of that commoner Harry Potter magic. Abracadabra my arse. This is true power. In reality, it's cool. But sometimes, if you're unlucky, the powers are close to useless and you end up just using normal guns, which is kind of a shame. I think you should just be able to choose your own, as all the ones you want seem to be only in the update videos. They have this with their Call a Friend system, so you can call down some friends to destroy that mech that decided to park on your land. So it's strange it's not the same for the powers. For everything else, they're rather run-of-the-mill as a faction. "20 new weapons and fighting items were added in Rimworld Royalty. Mostly spins on already in-game items, but much stronger. And sometimes with personas that boost your colonist's mood, and so are the most useful melee weapons in-game. The new ending gives you a new way to leave your colony that you've been building for the past 100 hours, and most likely have an emotional attachment to. I personally like that you have something to build towards instead of never actually finishing the game like many other colony sims, although it doesn't make much sense that your colonists would want to leave this lovely safe colony where they've got married, made friends and enemies, and played horseshoes for the past 5 years. And, by the end of the game, your colony most likely has full heating, a steady food supply, enough stuff to do in their free time, looks good, feels comfortable, and has a corporate business built on drugs. Don't look at me like that. You did it too. The new ending means you must accommodate the High Stellarch, the head snob, protecting him from waves of enemies, and then he will deliver you to his court. To be honest, it's just another flavour of ending with the same gameplay. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it would be if it were a AAA game. You see, Rimworld is a very minimalistic game in terms of graphics, whilst in a AAA title you'd be making a 3D item, which has to be able to fit in the character's hands, and you would have to make move sets for it. In Rimworld you just have to draw it and levitate it next to the colonist's hand. Also, in Rimworld, it's made on the Unity engine, which which is known as being a simple engine to use. In context, I couldn't make the title screen for Rimworld even if I tried though. The fact is, the game needed a bit more content. More likely another faction with its own quirks, maybe with a choice between the two factions, and whichever you choose puts you at war with the other. I also think actually being able to go into real towns and cities in-game would be a fun addition, and maybe you would have to go there for the higher titles to be bestowed on you. The DLC just needs more content, because at the moment it doesn't feel like a £15 DLC, but a £7 one. Especially with the modding scene around Rimworld, there's so much free content and it's very easy to download. I'm not angry, Rimworld, I'm just disappointed. In the end, there is one thing that could have saved this DLC. Having your own personal shuttle. What? Are you telling me my colonists are able to make a fucking spaceship, but not a shuttle? They would have to be charged up, obviously, and probably would be a late game thing. But why can I not get myself one? To fly over to the pirate camp, or to trade, they just seem like such an efficient way of travelling. The few times you get to use them, it's so satisfying. Just flying over there, doing the job, and flying back. And thus, the moral of this story is that if royalty had added shuttles to the game, everything would have been fine.